Final team of this discussion is the San Francisco 49ers, who had a mad summer. They went crazy with money. They brought back Carl Juszczyk, brought in Jason Pinnock, Mac Jones, Luke Farrell, Demarcus Robinson, Richie Grant, Eli Apple, Andre Dillard, Charles Surratt, Nicholas Petit-Ferrer, Fabian Moreau, Travis Gibson. They did lose quite a few people. They lost Aaron Banks, Travarius Ward, Javon Hargrave, Talano Huafanga, Dre Greenlaw, Leonard Floyd, Elijah Mitchell. Obviously, a lot of trades as well. They traded Deebo Samuel to the Commanders. Got picked back for that. Traded Jordan Mason away. Did that for subsequent picks as well. Also traded for Sky Moore to come in from the Chiefs. And then they also just traded for Brian Robinson Jr. from the Commanders the other day. That was a 6th round pick in 2026. That happened just yesterday, if I'm right, or maybe the day before. In the draft, they took Michael Williams, a defensive lineman, at 11 from Georgia. Took Alfred Collins, defensive tackle from Texas. Nick Martin, linebacker from Western Kentucky. In fact, it was a very heavy defense at the top of their draft. They pretty much went all defense up until the second of their 4th round pick, where they took Jordan Watkins, a wide receiver out of Mississippi, if I'm right. Yep, lining up right there. This is a head scratcher team in it, really, because you think of San Francisco 49ers and you think Super Bowl, Adam, don't you? But after the season last year, the injuries, the roster they have with the injury history they have. I mean, Brandon Aiyuk's not even back yet. I want this team to do well, but I just don't trust in their personnel in a way.
Do you want this team to do well? I'm a Green Bay fan, so I would more than happy to see them languish for a little while. I think this is a roster that has been depleted so much from poor draft picks over time that it can't keep going. And they basically had their Super Bowl window. It's gone. Their Super Bowl window is over. And you're seeing that because of who they're losing. They basically, I know Travarius Ward had a lot of personal issues and that was why he wanted to leave. But you've just lost Dre Greenlaw. You've just lost Hufanga as well. You've lost Aaron Banks. You know, these are big players that you're losing. Deebo Samuel, you could argue, is maybe not at the peak of his powers anymore. So fair enough. But these are big names that are going, and they're going to other teams. I know that they've re-signed George Kittle, and they've got their quarterback in Brock Purdy, and obviously CMC, in theory, should be fine this season. It's just very difficult, isn't it, to see them do anything here, because it's just over time this team has been so badly managed when it comes to the GM and their draft picks and who they've brought in. And I think
just on that before Fred goes to me, when you talk about their draft picks, because this has been a big topic for a lot of people over the last couple of seasons about their draft picks, is it a case of John Lynch is picking badly, or have we seen that Kyle Shanahan's been there quite a while now, and we've got a bit of a Pete Carroll in Seattle issue where he's got a lot of power now and he's maybe picking players that he thinks will win him now rather than picking players for the team for the future? Do you think it's Shanahan or Lynch that's drafting?
Well, I would hope it's Lynch because he's the GM. I mean, that's kind of how I know what you're saying, though.
In Seattle, though, didn't you? Pete Carroll got started, and now they've started to draft well. Now he's gone. Still got the same GM.
Yeah. I mean, it's entirely possible that your head coach is getting too much of a say and is taking over here. That is possible. But you would hope that John Lynch would be strong enough in order to come out and decide. And also, I would argue these bad draft picks, these aren't in the last couple of years. These have been like a good 5 years now of poor draft picks and just really not drafting well at all. So, I mean, back then, I don't think you can blame Kyle Shanahan for that. because he wouldn't have been there for very long. So it's that thing where I think the majority of this is John Lynch, and it is his fault. Again, it's like in this year's draft, it's like, Mikael Williams, I think is probably going to be a good player. Alfred Collins, we really liked Alfred Collins, think he'll be good. But then they went and got like Nick Martin, Upton Stout in like round 3, and it just kind of felt like you were picking players that most people were expecting to be way down the board. And it was almost like, oh, we've lost Tafunga and we've lost Greenlaw. We need to bring in a couple of linebackers, or we need to, Chavaris Warder's gone. We need a corner, right? So we'll have him. And you've almost gone and picked just the wrong guy, and there's no reason for it. So, yeah, I personally, I think that's the problem. And what they've done is they've just invested in a select few players over time. And now they've reached the point where they can't keep doing that because the price of them is just so high. So they've had to get rid of them. I really don't think this team has got much going for it this season. I think we could be looking at another really, really difficult season for the 49ers.
I mean, the big thing towards the end of the season last year was Shanahan being on the hot seat. And do you think that's potential to happen again, Andrew, as well? Because it sounds like it sounded like you're in agreement with a lot of Adam's saying in terms of this team has been poorly mismanaged, and they've invested money in CMC, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Like, what's I think on paper you look at it and you go, this looks
when
positive.
It comes to Kyle Shanahan, it's such a hard topic to say if he doesn't perform this year, let him go, because he generally is a really good offensive mind in the NFL. You look at his tree, look at the players that other coaches he's had, OCs that he's had, and things like that have developed and kicked on and done well. So he obviously knows what he's doing. So it'd be hard for me to say, yeah, if this team doesn't do well, let's get him out and replace him with who? Because we know what he is, and we know it's in there. It's just got to get right. And I think this is the year as well. They've got the easiest schedule out of everybody in the NFL, haven't they? And they've just paid their quarterback to be their franchise quarterback for the future. So for me, if it's this year for them, I think they've got to go out and they've got to win. I can see them doing that with their schedule that they've got. I can see them topping this group still. I'm on the other side of the fence to Adam on this one, which is odd. I thought we'd be quite similar with this division, but yeah, seems to be very different with this.
Do you really think they could top it? Really?
Yeah. I think with their schedule they're paying their quarterback now. They've got CMC is back and healthy and apparently firing on all cylinders. And the defense, yes, it lost some big names, but I think you've still got Fred Warner there, you've still got Nick Bosa there. They brought in Bryce Huff, Michael Williams, Alfred Ford. They did heavily invest on that defense, so I think the defense is still going to be good. And then offensively, it's time for Purdy to step up and we've had Mahomes has won Super Bowls with not having a very good wide receiver core. Brady's won Super Bowls without a good wide receiver core. We've seen Josh Allen go.
Whoa.
No,
Brock Purdy. Adam, did he just compare Brock Purdy to Tom Brady?
No, I'm saying it's time for him.
That's where he went.
If you're going to pay your franchise quarterback big money, and if you've got to expect them to be able to deliver and not say we've got every single weapon in the drawer. Josh Allen has never really had, a massive plethora of wide receivers to go and throw the ball to, that we're going, oh, they're all incredible. So it's time for Brock Purdy to step up. He's got the running back, he's got the tight end. There is quite a big question marks over the wide receivers, but it's time for him to step up. And with the schedule they've got, the defense they've got, I genuinely think that they could top this group.
I'm looking at the schedule and I can see the points that you're making. Adam, do you want to rebuttal with Brock Purdy, Tom Brady?
Oh, no, I didn't say that.
I think you slightly
without the wide receiver core. If you're going to be the best, which they're paying him like he should be, you've got to play without the wide receiver core.
I don't disagree.
That's his skill set.
I don't disagree.
I'd argue it's not his fault that he's getting paid as much as he is.
He could have said, "No, don't pay me as
the
much."
way-
He
I'll
could have
take
said
this.
no. He could have done exactly
he
what
could
Tom
have
Brady
said,
did and said no.
"Pay
Don't
me
pay
less."
But if you actually,
get
if you
loads
actually
of
look at
revenue.
his deal, it is very team friendly.
But
So
that,
it's-
they picked him to be. He's the guy they've chose to move forward with and say, "You're the franchise quarterback." So if he's got to step up this year. He's got to
Yeah,
show
but you
that
do
he is.
understand that organisations do make stupid moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.